I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, October the 2nd, 2014. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded to criticism from the United States over housing units Israel announced it was building in southern Jerusalem. As you may have seen on IBA News, just hours after Netanyahu met with U.S. President Barack Obama at the White House, the U.S. State Department criticized Israel for the housing plans beyond the Green Line, saying they would only poison the atmosphere and create condemnation against Israel. Netanyahu responded, telling NBC's Andrea Mitchell last night that it was important to first get the facts right.
Well, I think they should be acquainted with the facts first. First of all, these are not settlements, these are neighborhoods of Jerusalem. We have Arab neighborhoods and we have Jewish neighborhoods.
Netanyahu said that he and the president did not specifically discuss the housing unit issue during their meeting yesterday. An Israeli border police unit prevented a possible terror attack today. The officers were on patrol at the Tapuach Junction checkpoint in the West Bank when they were approached by two young Palestinian men who they thought appeared suspicious. The Border Patrol officers searched the men and found 3 explosive devices, an improvised firearm, and several knives on them. The men, said to be in their 20s, were arrested and handed over to the Shin Bet, Israel's security agency, for questioning. 2 girls were injured in the East Jerusalem neighborhood of Atur this afternoon after the car they were traveling in was hit with rocks. The girls were being driven home by a family friend when, while traveling through the East Jerusalem neighborhood, their car came under the rock attack. They sustained injuries said to be light to moderate and were taken to Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center for treatment. The Simon Wiesenthal Center is urging an investigation of former Nazi death squad members. The Associated Press reports that Wiesenthal Center's top Nazi hunter Ephraim Zuroff told them yesterday that last month he sent the German Justice and Interior Ministries a list of 76 men and 4 women who served in the Einsatzgruppen, a group of mostly SS and police who accompanied the Nazis during the first years of the war before the death camps were established, rounding up and shooting Jews. The death squad killed over 1 million Soviet Jews and tens of thousands of others by the spring of 1943. Zuroff said almost every person in the Einsatzgruppen was a murderer, a hands-on murderer. He said time was running out to bring these killers to justice. Germany's Justice Ministry said it had passed the information given to them by Zuroff to the Special Federal Prosecutor's Office that investigates Nazi-era crimes. An IDF tank that defended Israel during the 1973 Yom Kippur War is now on display at the Museum of American Armor on Long Island. The tank was built in the U.S. in the 50s and was sent to Jordan in the 60s as part of American military assistance there. It was captured by IDF troops during the Six-Day War, and during the Yom Kippur War, Major General Ariel Sharon used the tank in leading his troops across the Suez Canal, where it was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade and disabled. It was ultimately sold to a private collector and later bought by a Jewish philanthropist who wanted the tank placed in the museum to tell Israel's story. The tank arrived in Long Island this week, where it was greeted by Democratic Congressman Steve Israel, Republican Congressman Peter King, Consul General of Israel in New York Ido Aharoni, members of the New York State Senate, and IDF veteran soldiers who fought in Israel's wars. Aharoni said at the ceremony, specifically now when the Middle East is going up in flames, we are placing an Israeli tank in an American museum. He said this is further testimony of the close ties shared by the two countries and particularly by New York and Israel. The Jerusalem Post reports that Jewish and Muslim leaders met yesterday in Israel in a call for peace and tolerance ahead of the observances this weekend of Yom Kippur and Eid al-Adha, respectively. Both of Israel's chief rabbis, the head of the Sharia court based in Jaffa, and several Knesset members met yesterday in the city of Lod near Tel Aviv to call for respect and understanding, as the somber Jewish Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, coincides this year with the Muslim celebratory festival of Eid al-Adha, both falling on October the 4th. Co-executive director of the Abraham Fund Initiatives, Arnon Be'eri Solitznau, told the Post that the intention of organizing the event was to raise awareness among Israelis that both holidays are very important. He said most Israeli Jews were unaware that the holidays fell on the same date this year and could mistakenly think that Muslims would be celebrating on Yom Kippur for the sake of disruption, when in fact they have their own important holiday tradition. He also said the meeting was to help Jewish and Muslim leaders encourage their communities to show restraint and behave responsibly. And JBS begins special programming ahead of Yom Kippur, which begins tomorrow evening. Tonight at 9 o'clock on L'Chaim, Mark Golub sits down with Rabbi Gene Borowitz on the reality of God. And then at 9:30, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin, Dean of Or Torah Stone and Chief Rabbi of Efrat, offers a special drasha for the Day of Atonement. That's tonight on JBS and jbstv.org. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, October the 2nd, 2014. I'm Teisha Bader.